Let's now emphasize using a list as an argument of a function. So we have our list of numbers, sequential numbers starting from 1 to 4. Let's add them together. So let's have a function define add. It's the name of our function with the argument a list of numbers. So numbers. Have our colon in the end, and let's use the sum and numbers. To return this sum, we need to have a return here. Let's now call our function add with the argument numbers. And let's have a print here. Let's have our run now. The output is 10. It prints 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. We can even have the same output using a created list by range. So, for having a list created by range, let's have this to be comments. Let's define a function with the name add. So let's have here our define add, and let's have empty brackets as we don't need a variable of a list of numbers now. Let's have our colon, and let's start having the code of the function for I in range from 1 to 5. So we write for I in range open brackets 1, 5. Have our colon here. This creates a list having the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is excluded. Now we want to sum those elements. Before having the sum, we must have a variable here, sum equals 0. Having the elements summed up, we have sum equals sum plus I, or simply write sum plus equals I. Let's have now our return sum. So have our shift tab to give the opportunity for the for loop to be completed and return sum. Let's call our function add now. So add our empty brackets and have a print here and enclose it with our brackets. Let's have a run. It gives 10 the same result. Let's now have a list of integers 5, 2, 3 and 4, and we need to multiply each of these elements by 5. Let's do it in a function called multiply by 5 with the argument of the list numbers. So let's have in our function here for I in numbers, for I in numbers, this is the for loop scanning the elements of numbers. Let's have here I equals I multiplied by 5. Let's append the output to an empty list. So let's have here an empty list inside our function and before starting the loop. So we have multiplied equals an empty list, and let's append here the I. So have here multiplied dot append between brackets I. Let's now print our list. Let's have it printed outside the for loop, which means after the for loop is completed, print the list multiplied. And let's now call the function. So we have outside the function multiply by 5 with the argument numbers. And let's have a print now. We have all the elements multiplied by 5. This concludes with our video of overviewing functions with arguments as lists.